Hello everyone, back again with another video. I know it's been a long time since my last video, and that's because of a couple of reasons, mainly because of Stratego.com shutting down. But here I am on Strategus, the new site made by SC Develop, the developer of Strategus. Has a lot of cool features like you can replay games, you can check the rankings like this. My name's Psychedelic and I'm right here, 4th place. And you can watch other people's games, there are tournaments going on and all that kind of stuff. Today I challenged LOSERMAKER, a top player in the world, to a match, and let's see how it goes. So I tried to commentate it during live, but I had to focus too much, and I couldn't really focus while talking. So I'm going to replay it after the game, and let's see. So let's talk about the setup a bit first. I knew I had to do a loose flag, as I know he is the better player than me, and I know if it came down to an endgame situation, I would be trying to be tricky and make sure he doesn't get my flag. A couple other things, high bombs. I know sometimes, not mostly, but sometimes he likes to lotto, so a couple high bombs there. And I have a lot of scouts. The main thing is, since I have a lot of scouts, I know he likes his power pieces up front. He likes them out in the open, so I want to test some scouts with that. And then I got captains on these two flanks and Lieutenant Colonel right here. So let's see how it goes. So I'm starting off on the right side, and he pressures me in the middle, and I'm thinking, oh, that could be a major, but it's actually a scout. And we keep progressing, and my goal here is to build up both sides and let him attack me in the middle. I know I have my general and a couple majors in the middle, so I'll be fine if he attacks me. And my main goal is obviously to build up the flanks, which I'm about to do. Trying to like stall off the game, so he mainly pushes me in the middle, and I can maybe capture a major or colonel or something. So he's just moving his pieces around. I'm of course building up. Then he decides to trade captains with me. I wasn't very happy with that, but as I didn't have a lot of pieces there to protect me from stuff. But now he does a really smart play, and he scouts my colonel, and now that makes me forced to retreat because I know he likes to be unpredictable with his power pieces. Luckily, he brings his lieutenant, and I take his captain. So now, so far, I've put him on a halt on the left side, and he's trying to pressure me in the middle, and I want that. But unfortunately, on the right side, even though I'm up a lieutenant, he has my colonel info, and I think that's why I would be losing at this moment right now. So we'll continue. I don't think this piece approaching my captain's very high in rank, so I'll just play it calmly over there. Now just getting back into position so that my spy and colonel can guard my captain. And now here I decide to pressure with my colonel and lieutenant. So I push all the way in, and then I take the captain, which is a big risk, but I knew if he moved that piece over, I would take it anyway. And now what I'm about to do here is a very bad move, and it's when this piece pressures me, and I lotto this scout. Well, here I was thinking that I wanted to trade colonels, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and it was just a very bad lotto by me. So he moves that piece, and it's a major. Well, I have a major there, so that's okay. So I move my sergeant over, and now here is another mistake by me. If we go back one move here, instead of pressuring me with this piece right here, he decides to let it go. Meaning I'm thinking that it's not a very high piece if he doesn't want to trap me right away. So if we continue here, I move my sergeant over, moves this piece, and I don't think it's a good piece. But it turns out to be a general. So I wasn't very happy with that, and now I'm down a colonel for a captain. And losing high pieces versus these type of players is very hard to win. So that'd be tough. So now here I'm thinking possible colonels, marshals. I'm thinking maybe marshal could be one of these three. Colonel over here as he found my colonel. and he's probably going to bring another colonel so that he can take a piece and then we can trade. And then I think he's just doesn't have much in the middle and he's just bluffing in the middle, but I don't know yet. So I scout that captain, which is good information. Now I approach with my major, because I still feel he doesn't really have anything in the middle. And now I take with the major, sergeant, move over, scout, and just a major. I was maybe expecting a colonel or a scout. Now we trade there, and now I want to bring another major up because it's unexpected that I would have two majors in the middle. But I know that this piece could maybe be a colonel or something, or a marshal maybe, because I know he likes to have his pieces out in the open, so I want to scout it. I don't want to risk losing a major. But turns out it's just a scout. I know he adjusts his playstyle versus me, so I have to readjust to that. Now he's pressuring me with his captain, and I don't really like that, as I don't have a major on this side, as all my majors are known now. But I'd still give the advantage right now to him by a lot, as he knows my last colonel, and he's upper colonel, even though I'm up captain. My only good thing now is that I know his general, and he's moving a lot of pieces. Now I'm thinking this could be a lieutenant, sergeant, I don't know. So it's good to keep track of these moved pieces. I know when I was playing the game, I remember these two and this guy, and it's just really helpful when finding flags later on in the game. And now he's coming over with this piece. I don't really know what to expect, but it is actually a minor, and I found that very shocking, as he hadn't scouted that bomb yet, so it was just an assumption he made, and it was the right one. So I take it with the sergeant. Now my goal right here is to try and find the marshal. So I'll scout anything that moves. Turns out to be the wrong decision. Now I'm just wasting scouts. Now he's bringing a captain over. Now we're just kind of moving to get into a better position. I still don't know where his marshal is, and he still doesn't know both my power pieces as well. So kind of at a deadlock right now. Now what's very valuable here is my marshal position. Since I haven't moved it yet, it could be unsuspected, but I have to keep a captain here or a major here so that my marshal doesn't get detected easily. Unfortunately, he scouts this high bomb right here. I really wanted to bluff that late in the game as a marshal that just hasn't moved the whole game, but it's really here. So that was a bit unfortunate for me. Now I'm bringing my spy out because I think that this is the marshal right here. I think that it came from the third row. It's just looks like a marshal to me. I don't know. Either one of these two pieces, but really it's a scout. So he actually could have scouted my spy right here. And I'm being aggressive with my captain because I know his last major. And so the best thing I could find is marshal, or I could find a colonel. So I'll be a bit aggressive for that, but then I'll retreat and try and bluff my spy as a general or marshal here. So now this is probably the best part of my game, is using my spy effectively. Since there's no scouts on the board left for him, I know I can put my spy out in the open and just go off reads and make him feel scared of it, so then I can, when I get a good read on the marshal, he doesn't think it's the spy. Maybe it's just a sergeant or something. Now we're just readjusting. I'm trying to pressure him with my spy, try and bluff it as the marshal. Now he's moving his general all the way over here. I don't really like that, as that's my general side, and I don't want to trade generals right now. He might be trying to put pressure on my known colonel. So I'm just trying to stall make sure all my pieces are in order so that I can be ready for an attack. I think that this piece could be a colonel or a marshal. It could also be a captain. I don't really know at this point, but it's probably a colonel or captain. Captain, there we go. Trade lieutenants. Now it's just all about applying pressure for me. I know two of his captains had a major, so I could be more aggressive with my captains. I just have to find one of his colonels, and I think I'm in a good position. Now, possible flag locations for me is a tripod here, or a corner flag. I usually like to scout tripods early on in the game so that my miners can be bluffed as power pieces in mid-game and try and take a bomb off the tripod. Now he's bringing an unknown piece, and I suspect it could be a colonel or a lieutenant. Now I bring my general up, but to try and capture his major, but he's bringing an unknown piece. Now my possible flag locations are here, and a flag here, or corner, right there. Now, of course, he knows that colonel, so he's just going to defend it with his general. And now this part of the game is all just readjusting. Two players like us, we want to be in the perfect position so that when we strike, we don't lose pieces. When we reveal our info, we don't, like, our whole setup doesn't get run through. Now, this piece right here could be Colonel Marshall, but I doubt it. But I still want to scout it anyway. So that's why I'm bringing my scout out. Now I'm going to attack that because it doesn't seem plausible that it's a Marshall. And I won't trade just yet. I want him to trade so I can scout the piece behind it because I think that could be Marshall or Colonel. So now I'll move over. He won't trade. Still trying to scout this piece. Move it down so that if I find out it's a Marshall, which it is, that he doesn't trap my major and captain. So now that I know his Marshal and General, it's all about trying to find his one of his two colonels, and then I can really apply some pressure with my captains as I know his last major and a colonel and his Marshal and his general. And right now I'm not trying to be too fancy and bluff my spy. I want to make my spy too obvious so he doesn't think it's actually it, but I don't know if he'll fall for that. Now I'll just try and bring my miner, maybe bluff that as a really good piece, as his third row right here beside my Marshal. This is a potential colonel that I could be chasing. Now he's going to bring up a piece to scout it. Or maybe not. He's going to bring a piece to the middle. I'm thinking that could be a colonel, so I just want to move here so that my major is safe with my spy. Maybe bluff this piece as a marshal. So right now on the board, I think that this is the colonel, this is a colonel, this is general, marshal, of course, major, captain, and then this could be the spy. This could also be the spy. Those were my thoughts during the game. Now I know that he's going to try and trap my miner here because he doesn't believe in the bluff anymore. So I just have to take whatever I can get, take a bomb, and then his lieutenant captures me. So that eliminates potential for a spy. So this is the only other moved piece I think that could be the spy. Just have to remember to keep track of this piece. But he's moving it all the way in, so that's kind of weird that it could be the spy, but maybe he's trying to bluff it as something else so that my marshal can move next to it. Now my goal here is to bring my colonel to the other side, as I feel vulnerable by only my captain protecting my marshal. So I'll bring my colonel all the way to the other side, so that and my major can guard my general. Right here, I think he might think one of these two could be a marshal or general. I think he knows that this is the spy, but he doesn't want to take too big of a risk. So I'm going to bring my bluff marshal, which is my minor, which was right here when his colonel was approaching, and try and bring it to maybe open a tripod here, or maybe bring it all the way across to the corner. I just want to hit a bomb or something, or maybe find out the spy, or find out the colonel or something. Now, this is my known colonel, and I'm trying to see what this is. Could be his colonel, or it could be something else. So it was his colonel. So we trade there. I know his major here. So now I can really apply pressure with my captain. I just know he has one other colonel on the board, and he can't really trap my captain. So I'm in pretty good shape here. And I think we're both getting a bit impatient, but we just have to wait it out and see which person will make the first attack. And I can't really do that since I'm down in the colonel. So I just kind of have to wait for him to do something. So we'll trade captains there. Allows me to bring my major to the other side, but I don't want to trade because that'd be a very bad idea. So I'm going to bring my bluff marshal, which is my minor, and try and pressure the major. My plan here is to bring the minor and maybe get some tripod here. I'm going to bring my spy out, pressure the major. My spy is getting pressured now. That could be sergeant, it could be lieutenant. I just know I have to get away with it. Now he's just being guarded by his marshal. He's bringing his general over. Now I'm getting a bit worried here. He might make an unpredictable attack, and my marshal really isn't in position. So I just have to readjust a bit, just keep my pressure on his major on the left corner. Now he's bringing his general over. Maybe he's trying to trade generals. Maybe he believes that my minor is a general. So now I'll go there, and then he will take it, so I won't be able to get to his tripod. I still have the info advantage here, as I know Marshall and his general, or he doesn't know either of mine, and I know his major as well, and captain. And so during this part of the game, I really had to start focusing, and I had to remember all of his pieces, and I had to calculate which one's the spy, where are the bombs. I just had to focus a lot there. No, he's bringing his major down. Of course, trying to bluff my spy as the marshal, which I usually do. And here's a time I like to talk about these flags. When we hit endgame, because I know this game is looking a bit tight, so we probably will. This is the best way to utilize open flag. He won't exactly know where my flag is, and when it's closed, it's kind of obvious where it is. Like for him, I would think it's here or here. Maybe he goes loose. Sometimes he goes loose, but not very often. So loose flags are just so good when you're down a major piece, but you're up the small pieces, which I'm up a captain, not really all the small pieces, so I'm down a minor. But if you're down a big piece, it's really useful, and I like it that way. So he forgets my major, and so I just get a free sergeant. Now I'm up a captain and a sergeant to his colonel. So it's about an even game right here, I would say, as he has my colonel, but I have the info advantage. We're both playing fundamentally well right now. Just someone has to crack open the game, and we both want the other person to do it and sacrifice a piece or something. Now I get a bit worried here that he wants to maybe pressure me a bit, and that he might call a spy bluff or something like that. So I just move there. This could be a kernel, this could be something, I don't know. If you guys want more analysis like this, leave a like and subscribe. I'm planning to post a lot in the next couple days, and if you want, I'm giving out free lessons on my Discord server, which is just in the link in the description, if you guys want to join. I'll be teaching how to make setups, how to blitz, how to defend properly against top players, how to use the spy effectively, how to blind spy, I'm really good at that. All that type of stuff. So right now we're just at a deadlock again, stand still. I don't like that his kernel is right here, well, his supposed kernel. He's being a bit wary of my marshal. He doesn't know, it hasn't even moved yet, but he doesn't want to go one more. I'm really hoping he goes one more, but he still hasn't. So that makes me think that maybe he knows that that's a power piece. Now we're both just readjusting. He locks my captain. And here, I hope that he doesn't call my spy bluff. So he doesn't call it, which is good. But he keeps himself trapped in the corner there. And then he takes my moved sergeant, which I moved early on in the game, taking a minor from when he defused my bomb. And then I'm going to lock his major in the corner, well, with my lieutenant, with my spy. And I don't really want to do that because he might call it right away, but I kind of have to do that. So there it is. And now his marshal and general are in the middle, and these are my two spy bluffs, I guess. And then this is maybe his colonel, and this could be, I guess, his spy. Could also be lieutenant. Could also be a minor. Because his only other moved piece, he hasn't moved any other pieces, so it's got to be spy or lieutenant, in my opinion. So I'm going to go trap it with my major. He might not remember that this is my major, since I've been shuffling it a bit. So I know that this is probably his colonel, but I'll still take the risk of going up a lieutenant, going down a captain, if he calls it. But it's actually his spy, which kind of surprised me during the game. I really thought it was a lieutenant, but a spy is even better, I think, right now, because of my unknown marshal. Now I was going to go down, pressure my major and captain. Now here's where I kind of let him know, let it know that my marshal is right there, my general. So now I trap his colonel in the corner there, and my plan is to try and bring my general over so that I can trap his colonel and get a free colonel. And my pieces are set up in a way that even if he finds out my general right here and I take his colonel, his general at most will get a minor, which is great. So move my major up, he trades, and I take his colonel. So now he pressures my minor, I don't really care about it. Move my general over, and now he can't really get any of my other pieces. The most he'll get is my spy, which doesn't really matter. So he gets my spy, and now I'm just trying to trade captains or try and get his lieutenant, but he trades captains for me. So now I'm going to try and pressure his lieutenant with my major and captain, but he's not going to let me. He's going to try and move it, which is a good play by him. So I'm going to try and bring him all the way across the board. And I'll try and bring my captain over. Now he looks like he wants to trade generals, which I'm fine with. I am up a captain, down 2 minors. But I still think with my 2 lieutenants here, and his known lieutenant, I still have the advantage here. So we proceed to trade generals, and I think we could also trade majors if we want. I'd be down to trade majors. So now he moves a piece that could be his lieutenant. I don't know. It could also be a minor. Since I know his lieutenant, that's my biggest advantage here. So we'll trade there, and now I have two unknown lieutenants versus his known lieutenant and my captain. I have a captain as well. I'm going to bring a minor up, try and get his tripod, maybe bluff it as a lieutenant. So one of these pieces has got to be a lieutenant, I think. But since he moves it over like that, that makes me think it's a minor. I can bring a piece on the side. I don't really think it's a lieutenant, so I'll pressure it. If it is a lieutenant, I can just pressure him on the other side. Now this is his error here. This is a major blunder by him. Since he's clumping up his pieces, my captain can go and trap his lieutenant and this piece right here, and I'll get a free piece. So that was a big blunder by him. So I'll get a free lieutenant. Now I'm up a captain and a lieutenant. Now I'm a bit worried because that's probably his lieutenant pressuring my sergeant. And that's my last minor on the left there. So I'm just going to move away a bit. Again, my goal is to try and defuse this tripod here. Pressure that there. Trying to bring my minor up. I'm a bit worried here because he's going to bring a minor with his lieutenant and take all my bombs and my flag. So I really have to act fast with my minor here. But I have to bring my lieutenant over first. Just defense first always. Now I know that his minor is going to get through for sure. So kind of have to do something with my minor on the offensive zone and not even care about the defensive territory. So I'll take a bomb there, and now I think that's his tripod, of course. Then this is my biggest mistake of the game, other than my colonel early on in the game. What I do here is I take, with my minor, with my last minor, I go in and hit his sergeant. Obviously I think it's his flag, but what I should have done is move my minor over and then hit with my captain. Because if I lose my last minor, I'd be in trouble. So hit with my captain, that would have been the better idea, instead of losing my minor and then my captain taking his sergeant. Take the sergeant, and now I have to guess where his flag is, because I know his minor is going to come down. Not really in a position to... I can draw here, but I can't really win. So now I have to guess where his flag is. So, tell me in the comments below where you think his flag was right at this moment. I'll tell you my thoughts and how I decided where his flag was. So if we go back a bit, he had his tripod here, and I had a minor here. I had a minor right here, bluffing his major, right? So if we continue here, I try and go through, but he just blocks me off right away. Even though his flag's not really here, he still takes the bluff, and he still calls it. So when we go over here, I'm thinking, since he took this so rapidly, he took my minor so rapidly, even though he believed the bluff for such a long time, the flag has got to be there. Because he was so scared that my minor would come through and hit that. So yeah, that's the game. I feel we both played really well. I was down a colonel early, but I was able to take advantage of a blunder that he made about his colonel on the left corner here, trapping it with my Martian general. And it was the position, I was in the right position to do that, as I only had a minor here that his general was able to take. So it was a good high risk, low reward. And yeah, so thanks for watching this game versus LoserMaker. Again, the site is called strategus.appspot, and there's rankings, there's all sorts of stuff. You can see your ELO, and yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.